Hey everybody, it's Mark, Dr. Deadwax, and it's time for the Inbox Challenge 2, Day 30. Today's the last day. Today's numbers were picked by Joe Robertson. Joe's been in the VC, I think, about 8 months. He's made a dozen or more videos. Links down below, sub them up. I haven't watched a lot of his videos because I just discovered them recently, but they're in the playlist. I haven't watched a lot of videos, honestly, this month. This is 5 hours a day for 30 days. Kind of choose time. Don't have a lot of time for videos. But they're all in the watch later list, and I'll be walking a lot of miles in the gym on the treadmill watching videos in the month of January, that's for sure. Especially after I get through my wife's Christmas baking. So, sub Joe up. Check him out. He picked 3 records. I'm doing 5. Every day it's been 5. Why change on the last day? Sierra Nevada Kellerwies. Nice traditional Keller beer, open vat, brewing style, cloudy. You swirl the yeast up, pour it in. Similar to a wheat, but not as much. More floral, clover scents. I drink the Keller beer from Canada all the time, so that's very similar. This is closer to a wheat than the Keller beer I drink from here. I sent Wes one of my Keller beers. He thought it was weird. Anyway, first up, Dusty Springfield, a brand new me. This is on the Atlantic label, U.S. pressing on the Atlantic label, and this is pressed. Is this going to show? It's going to be one of these days. It's going to be a good day or a bad day. Right at noon there. Is it going to focus? It is CTH. There it is. Columbia Terre Haute. So what's interesting is Columbia Terre Haute, Indiana, is a pressing plant owned by Columbia. But here's a record from Atlantic, pressed there. Sorry, I'm tired. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. So this is the second one in the Inbox Challenge, and that's something I've kind of discovered. You know, I'm continually learning stuff, and that's something I've learned doing this challenge. This is I didn't know that Atlantic was pressing records at CTH. So obviously, when they couldn't press enough of their own stuff, they would job out to Columbia. That is a follow-up to Dusty's Memphis record, and this is a great record. I'm not sure it's as good as Memphis. Memphis is such a classic, though. It might be a little overhyped. This is good. She's got a great voice and a great sound, and you know, it's of that period. It's 1969, I think it was recorded in, released in 1970. You know, that's a good record. I got that for like $5. It's, you know, VG++, almost near mint. Next is a record I don't know, but I'm pretty damn certain nobody in the VC has ever shown this. This is Tim Harrison, Train Going East. I bought this record because it's recorded and mixed at Grant Avenue Studios, recording and mix engineer Danny Lanois. And that's why I bought it, because I collect anything that's recorded at Grant Avenue Studios, which is near my house here, and I collect anything that Danny Lanois produced, especially when he was living in Hamilton. And either at Grant Avenue Studios, which he owned, which he too recorded a record at, before that he produced records out of his mom's basement. Him and his brother Bob Lanois, and Bobby still lives in town, and Danny lives somewhere down in New Orleans or somewhere down in the south. This is on 2nd Avenue Songs. SAS is the label. This is an independent private press. This is a valuable record. This is a $50 record. I've had a bunch of these. I've never actually listened to it until tonight. But I usually trade them to dealers for things I want, because you know, these get 40, 50, up to $100 sometimes. And so this is a kind of singer-songwriter folk in the James Taylor, Jackson Browne, that kind of tradition, the 70s singer-songwriter folk. So it's not just acoustic, it's folky rock. So this is a fantastic record. I really like this. It kind of reminds me, there's one song on here that reminds me of Dawes, what the hell's that chicken wing song he did? Tim Harrison on acoustic guitar, Kevin Dandeno, Bill Garrett, Ross Gibbons, and Ron Selwood are the band, but the guests are Kim Deschamps on dobro. Kim was in Blue Rodeo for a while. He's a great pedal steel guitar player, fantastic pedal steel guitar player. He was on another, he was on, I'm pretty sure he's on Trinity Sessions. He's on everything. Like, the guy's been doing it for a quarter century and doing it like a master. David Essig, Danny Lanois plays guitar in here. Jude Johnson, she's like a local jazz chanteuse. She's just backup vocals here. She's a good backup vocalist. Garnet Rogers and Stan Rogers. So this is great. Danny Lanois is great. Like I said, I collect anything that Danny has produced, especially here in town. I just buy it. I wind up with all kinds of weird kind of country stuff. He did a metal album called Falcon. He's a really interesting guy. He's a nice, super, super nice guy. He comes back to Hamilton all the time. There's something like called the Hamilton Music Awards, where they give out awards to musicians from Hamilton. This is a very small music community, but they have their own award show. And Danny will come back and headline it and do a fundraiser for it, and you know, so that they can actually afford to hold the event next year. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. He hasn't forgotten. He's from Quebec, but he hasn't forgotten the role that this town played in his life. He doesn't own Grand Avenue anymore, but he did for years after he stopped recording there and had moved studios down into the States somewhere. Danny Lanois story. So 20 years ago, say, back when I kind of lived in the bars, and go out to a bar for 3 days, kind of days. There used to be this little bar that held like 28 or 32 people was what the liquor license was for. It was just like a little tiny house that was, they'd taken all the walls out, and they would have like a folk musician in there. Brian, there's a great guitar player here named Brian, I can't remember his last name, but he's played with Willie Nelson. He's fantastic. Anyway, that bar, you'd go to another bar and you could call that bar from the other bar when last call was called at the other bar, and you'd call the little tiny bar and you'd talk to Patty, who was the only person who worked there. She worked the bar, and you'd say, Patty, can I get like 8 beers for last call? And she'd say, sure. And she'd put them aside for you, and after you'd go, she'd pay for them, she'd close up the till, you'd have an hour to finish your drinks at the bar you were in, and they'd kick you out, and you head over to the bar, the little bar. And once everybody was in there, she'd lock the doors and lock you in, and you'd pay for your drinks off of her, and you get to stay till 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's like a lock-in. And Danny Lanois would be there, and he'd play, and he sometimes he'd play just like a snare drum and sing. And he was just awesome, and it was a great little bar. Lots of really cool musicians you'd see there. Lots of fun. A little hard on the liver though. Next is this is another one of these records. I didn't buy this. This is like a $4 Value Village record. So I bought a collection at some point, and this must have come out of it, because I wouldn't have bought this because I still have my copy from high school. And David Bowie, Scary Monsters. Canadian Pressing, RCA. Nothing interesting in the Dead Wax. Oh, this has TLC in the Dead Wax for the Lacquer channel, which it also shows. They're in the mastered at the Lacquer Channel, Toronto, Ontario. So this is my favorite David Bowie album. It came out, what, 1979, 1980? Grade 9 for me. Hugely influential. My first exposure to Robert Fripp. Follow-up song to Space Oddity, is it? Anyway, this is a great record. I love this record. That copy's been cleaned. I cleaned it up, and it's got a low-grade noise in it, so it's obviously has some sort of groove damage. But hey, it's great music. It's great to listen to it again. I won't be keeping that copy. I'm sure my copy from 1980 is probably in better condition. So all the records I picked now. John Tropea, To Touch You Again. This is John's third solo record. He did his first solo record. John Tropea is a guitar player, jazz, funk, fusion, soul, rock, studio guy, the whole deal. Great guitar player. His first record is called just Tropea, and fuck, that thing just smokes. And his second record is called Short Trip to Space. And I know I've showed that in a video probably 2 years ago, maybe more than 2 years ago. I showed a white label promo of that on Marlin. And that's kind of like a little concept piece almost. It literally is like a short trip to space. It has the whole, it really conveys that. I think that one might be all instrumental. Anyway, this one is his third one. It's good. It's the weakest of the three by far, but he still plays some mean guitar on it, and it's on the Marlin label. Sorry, there you go. And as you can see, at 6 o'clock down on the bottom, it says Master Disc RL. So, two-sided Master Disc RL. This is mastered by Robert Ludwig, and this sounds fantastic. And like I said, this is the same kind of stuff. He's funky, fusiony. This is slightly, I don't know, I think disco might be the wrong word, but definitely that feel of that era. I think this is 79. So this has got all of that kind of stuff on it. Will Lee is the bass player on the record. Will Lee was in the World's Most Dangerous Band, Paul Schaefer's band from the David Letterman show. Rick Marotta, I'm not sure if Rick Marotta, or he's got a brother, Joe Marotta? Fuck, I know that's wrong. But one of them was the Indigo Girls drummer for years. Steve Gadd's on here on drums. The Brecker brothers are on here. You know, it's that crew, it's that team. So it's got that all that you think of when you think of Gadd and the Brecker brothers, and a guy who plays that kind of fusiony guitar, that kind of funky. So I paid $2 for that record in perfect condition, Master Disc RL. Press, the mastering is fantastic. It sounds great. Check out some Tropea. You'll find that stuff for nothing in the dollar bins, and that first one for sure, Tropea, is smoking. Finally, last one I picked is the Sea and Cake, the Moonlight Butterfly. I really like Sea and Cake. Again, another one of these. I think they're a Chicago post-rock band. This is 2011 on Thrill Jockey. This is, I believe this is technically an EP. This is fantastic. This is just, I love this kind of music. This arty post-rock stuff. Comes with the inner. Just a very simple white label with the elephant on it. on one side, and this on just the words on the other. SAE mastering in the Dead Wax, which the Tortoise I showed the other day was also SAE mastering. So it appears that Thrill Jockey, I think they're both on Thrill Jockey, does a lot of mastering at SAE. What a great record this is. This record has some great grooves on it. Yeah, I'm really happy I picked this up. I paid like $9 for this, and I did really well. This is apparently, even though it's only 2 years old, it's apparently kind of hard to find. So, but if you like Tortoise and that kind of stuff, I suggest you check it out. So the Sea and Cake, the Moonlight Butterfly, that was the last record of the Inbox Challenge for 2013. John Tropea, To Touch You Again. Check it out. Check out John Tropea. It's 3 solo albums. Definitely check out Tropea, and I strongly recommend also Short Trip to Space. Scary Monsters, my favorite David Bowie record. It's of my time. It's of my era. It's when I was, learning about music, grade 9. I was 13 years old. It's one of the foundations of my interest in music. Tim Harrison, Train Going East. What a fantastic private press Canadian folk rock record. Danny Lanois Connection, the whole deal. And Dusty's follow-up to Dusty in Memphis, A Brand New Me. Great job, Dusty. Great record. So that's it. Last year I did a follow-up, like a wrap-up of the Inbox Challenge. I don't know if I'll do that this time. So, bottom line, be the VC you want the VC to be. Cheers, everybody. Have a great day. Keep the record spinning.